Back Row Ministry of the World Premier, Mr. Marty coming at you live and direct. How you doing? I got a couple of videos I'm going to be hitting you with back to back. One of them I'm going to kind of, this is kind of a piggyback off of the topic that I talked about. I talked about the State of the Union address, but I also talked about the little situation in Virginia as far as what was going on in Virginia and why was it going on in Virginia. So here's the thing with African Americans that we have to start working on as a people. We have to really learn about the types of controls that are put in place in this world to basically keep power over people. There are several controls that people use, and in this world they use control to keep us in a state of perpetual war. So anytime you read 1984 when they talked about the state of perpetual war, they were talking about the use of these controls to keep people at war all the time, because you're always at war. There's always a reason for a war. So one construct they use to keep us at war with each other is the construct of race and class systems. Race and class systems. So you're white, you're black. They put a code on you. You're white, you're black. Remember in Rwanda, you're Hutu. You got 1,000 different codes on you. You're yellow. You're brown. There's all these different codes. You're a red man. And these codes are to keep us in a state of perpetual war, because we always are trying to point the difference out. And the first difference, of course, is we don't look the same. Okay, yeah, we don't look the same. None of us look the same. None of us are the same complexion, tone. Even in the African American race, you can be different tone. You can be albino and still be African American. So we know we don't look the same. But getting us not only to look at the difference as far as color and skin tone, but then you add things in. Then you begin to add character traits into color and skin tone. So blacks are lazy. They don't want to go to work. They lie. White people have privilege, and all white people were born with a silver spoon in their mouth and have a status because they're Caucasian. Yellow folks are just trying to get over on everybody, and they're always trying to sell you something, and they make everything in the world. The Native American pretty much, runs around with tomahawks and yells all day. So, the brown people, the Hispanics, they just, are here illegally, want to, all cram into a house, all cram into a car. We got all these stereotypes that we place on each other. These are things that we do to each other each and every day. And race is the most powerful construct that was created by the elite, because they knew with race they could always keep us at perpetual war. So in America this year, unfortunately, we celebrate the 400-year anniversary of America beginnings of slavery. Basically, the first slaves landed in America 400 years ago. 400 years ago. And this is the anniversary year of that. So, of course, this happened in Virginia. So the ritual now is a mocking ritual, a scripted mocking ritual, staged by society members of Virginia. These guys are in the society where you have the Caucasian males wearing blackface as a mocking of African Americans. This whole thing of keeping the perpetual war going, because that's how the character display, this is how they see African Americans in blackface. With the big lips, the big red lips, the big bulging eyes. That's how they see us. That's the mocking. And then you have the lieutenant governor, who's seen as the animalistic black man who just runs around groping on women. He just the Mandingo can take what he wants. Always the mocking. Always the mocking in these type of rituals. And African Americans have to begin to open their eyes and ask themselves some very important questions. Why, if these pictures are so old, did they not come to the surface till now? Why is it all of a sudden in Black History Month, these pictures come to the surface? Well, they picked Black History Month because Black History is another marking month. This is the 42 month. We call it the nigger month. They put 42 on this month in Gematria for a reason. It's the nigger month. So, of course, through the nigger month celebration, they'll have a nice mocking nigger month story to get the black people revved up. We had Jussie Smollett, his little story that's now being challenged by so many African Americans that now Mr. Smollett is under the microscope for putting together a fraudulent story. But it's the same thing in Virginia. These staged and script stories. It's just like they rig this just like they do sports. These men are in the society. They're told what to do. They're told what to do. So we talk about the sacrifice. Sacrifice could be a physical sacrifice. It could be a mental sacrifice. It could be a spiritual sacrifice. It could be shaming, whatever. But they're told what to do. They're told how to react. And their job is to, do what they're told. Do what they're told. So it's nothing for them to stage a story and rig a story. And as, like I say, as African Americans, we have to start getting caught up in the propaganda. The media's job is to keep you in perpetual war. That's the media's job. The media is there to keep us in perpetual war. They have to keep feeding us the hate stories. That's their job. Feed you the hate stories. Oh, look at them. They got you the black face. Look at that. You should be upset. You should be steaming. Not asking yourself, well, why did they wait all the way to Black History Month 2019 to release pictures that are over 30 years old? Are any African Americans asking themselves that question? Why now? Why at this time? Are you watching a landscape where the presidential election now is being pretty much filled with women? You got 2 African American candidates already, maybe 3. Are you looking at what they're trying to do? And as African Americans, we don't look at what they're trying to do because we let our emotions and passions run us. And we have to let common sense begin to run us. I wanted to applaud African Americans for really standing up with the Jussie Smollett situation and challenging that story. And if you can challenge it with Jussie Smollett, let's begin to challenge some of these other stories and seeing them for what they are. Let's stop seeing them just for the race story that is, and see it for the race baiting story that it is. Because that's what it is, race baiting. Keeping you at perpetual war. Giving us a reason to hate each other, because if we hate each other, we can't work together. If we can't work together, they got us. And that's pretty much how the levels of control work in America. They use race, they use religion, they use sex as levels of control. They use poverty, rich man, poor man, whatever they can use to keep us at perpetual war. But as African Americans, we need to really start challenging these things. We can't let our emotions get us away from common sense of why are these people doing this. Everything with these people is a ritual. They are celebrating the 400-year anniversary of slavery coming to this country. And they are mocking you. And the mockery is the blackface. They are mocking you. That's their job. The elite's job is to mock you, to remind you of why you need to hate. It's easy to hate, but it's hard to love. And that's what we got to remember. These people need us to hate because they can't afford if we start loving each other. Can't afford if Caucasian, African Americans, Hispanics, Native Americans get together and start loving each other and start dissecting some of the evil that they're doing in this country and around the world. They don't want us together. They need us to stay at war. Need us to stay at war. And it's up to us to end the war. We just got to decide when we're going to end the war. We got to decide when we're ready to stop fighting. We got to decide when we're tired of the media fueling race baiting and hate. And when we're going to turn our back on that, and when we're going to start living in a positive light and living in a light of love so we can defeat the elite. Mr. Monkey Back Road Ministry, peace and hair, grease, wake up.